Logos. You either love them or you hate them, but the fact is, they are everywhere. In fact, I bet there are at least 3 logos on your screen right now as you're watching this. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one here who's looked at a logo and thought to himself, is that really all that they could do? So today, I'm going to take my creative spin on six popular logos and see if we can change them up a bit. Who knows? Maybe I'll create something that leads to a big, juicy corporate contract, or maybe someone might get a laugh and like this video. Who knows? Alright, first off, we have what might possibly be my wife's favorite shopping place, TJ Maxx. Honestly, not a lot going on here, just some standard modern font that looks nice, that really goes with the trend these days, but overall, not really anything interesting going on here. Now, let's look at my version. Now, I showed this to my wife, and she told me that this looks like what the knockoff version of TJ Maxx would look like. And, looking at it, can't say that she's wrong. But I figured utilizing a different typeface might give it a little bit of a different feeling. But I guess that feeling is, cheap clothes at cheaper prices. Moving on, our next contestant is a personal favorite of both my wife and I, Dunkin'. Now, I'm quite a fan of Dunkin's logo. I have no immediate quarrels with it, but looking back on their history, they used to have a lot more fun and creative ways of displaying their brand. Now it's just kind of a basic and even shortened version of what it used to be. They even gone as far as to remove the donuts from the Dunkin' part. They gave it the old Darth Maul treatment. Now here's my version. Arguably a little bit more busier, it's got a lot more things going on for it, but I think it gives a bit more of a grooviness vibe to it and just changes things up a little bit. And of course I had to slap a donut and a nice coffee on it because, well, that just makes sense. Okay, so I'm definitely 2 for 2, so let's move on. Now, I have a personal vendetta with this next brand, Instagram, mainly because of their decision to change their branding in 2022. Allow me to show you the history. Right here, that's the ticket, right there. In May 2022, Instagram rolled out a visual refresh of its logo. Today we're bringing new energy and purpose to our colors, typeface, logo, and other brand elements, the company announced on its website. There is literally nothing different. All they did is just up the saturation levels. You cannot tell me otherwise. And somebody got paid big bucks just to do that, just to crank up that saturation level bar. That's all they did, just crank it. So you know what? I did the same thing. In fact, here's 3 variants of the logo. I messed around with the saturation on the original 2022 version of the Instagram logo. Heck, I even cranked down the brightness and the contrast here on a couple of these. So here, take your pick, whichever one you want. I got plenty. You don't like these colors? I can make more. Okay, speaking of social media brands and their logo changes, let's look at Twitter. Or, I'm sorry, X. Okay, so I know it's an old meme at this point to harp on Twitter, or sorry, X. But I mean, come on. Like, this is so unimaginative. They really wanted to rock the boat with this one. It's just, I don't know, plain? But I mean, I guess they kind of messed around with how the X could look for it, but it's missing something. And I'm not fully sure what it is. But the tagline though, have you seen the tagline? On the App Store, their tagline used to be, "Blaze your glory." That goes pretty hard. I don't think it's on there anymore, but it went pretty hard for when it was. So I figured, let's keep the best of both worlds, mix them together, and there you go. Totally original in every single way, but with this, at least you don't have to choose whether you're a left or a right. Well, I guess technically there is a form of that, but we're not gonna get into that. Anyway, moving on. This next one I just wanted to have a little fun with because honestly, I don't think they get enough recognition in the soda pop scene. Cheerwine. It's Southern, it's awesome, and I love this drink. Cheerwine, if you're watching this and want a spokesman that will work for virtually nothing, I'm your guy. Now, while I enjoy their logo, I also very much enjoy the look of old vintagey logos. So when I took this one, I decided to twist it up a little bit and give it that kind of appeal. So there's what I got. It's virtually the same thing, but it looks like it's a couple decades older. So Cheerwine, hit me up. Okay, so the final logo we have, in which I would happily exchange spokesmanship for a lifetime of free food, is Wings Etc. If you like B-dubs, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. I used to be a B-dubs guy, but thankfully I was transformed by the tantalizing taste of the beautiful boneless barbecue wings. They just do it better. They just do. And don't even get me started on the loaded curly fries. So Wings' logo is a bit intense, but for the vibe that you get while inside of one of these restaurants, it works tremendously well. I can't really explain it. It's when you see it on the tables as you're sitting down to dine on some wings, it just feels right. And I'm not sure why, because most logos these days, like we've stated before, pretty simple, pretty modern, but Wings seems to carry it off pretty well with their everything they got going on here. So this is what I came up with. I wanted to give it a more mainstreamy-ish look while still retaining the vibe that it gives off. And this is what I essentially came up with. I couldn't think of a way to add in the chicken at the time, but I definitely wanted to keep the flames and the World War I plane, because that's just cool. And I think for a first draft, it doesn't look half bad. Alright, that's gonna do it for this video. Did I make something that could land me a 6-figure contract? Comment down below. And while you're down there, feel free to leave a like if you're feeling it. I'll see you guys next time.